Welcome to my Vision News Tuesday's first video. Some new stories for you. First one is from the Oromo region. Is there going to be a major counter-offensive on Oromo Liberation Army to contain OLA? I have been sharing my analysis with you that Oromo regional government is planning a major offensive on OLA. Now, we have details of a meeting for you. A meeting was held to discuss how to counter Oromo Liberation Army. Reportedly, PM Abiy chaired the meeting. Some decisions were made. What was the decision made? And who supported armed action against OLA? Who supported talks with OLA? We have details for you. Secondly, viewers, we have received a video which is reportedly from Dire Dawa University. University students can be seen harshly beaten by security staff there. What is happening at Dire Dawa University? And thirdly, some meetings have been held in Eritrea between ENDF and EDF generals. What were the meetings about? And lastly, Tigray, more than 450 trucks have entered Tigray within 1 week, starting from the 15th of November. But still, a lot is needed. Their needs and deliveries. Delivery is far from the actual needs in Tigray. We have details for you. Firstly, viewers, it seems that OLA, Oromo Liberation Army, is the new target of Ethiopian federal government. Fano almost dismantled. Main Fano commanders on the run, some in prisons, thousands of Fano fighters in prisons. Then Tigray forces going to be disarmed and ceasefire holding in northern Ethiopia. TPLF has agreed to disarming of Tigray fighters. Now, next target is Oromo Liberation Army. A meeting was held reportedly chaired by Ethiopian PM Abiy. The meeting was about how to counter Oromo Liberation Army. Should there be political approach involving talks with OLA, or should there be military action? Meeting was attended by obviously PM Abiy. Tekele Umma was there to Ethiopian minister. Ararsa Meredasa was there. I think he is from a splinter faction of OLF. Then Gabre Maskal Chala was one of the participants, and Avalo Abdo was there too. Umar Hussain, Minister of Agriculture, was part of the meeting too. So what was discussed? Reportedly, one of the participants supported dialogue. Umar Hussain, Agriculture Minister, at the meeting supported the start of talks with Oromo Liberation Army. But majority of participants, including PM Abiy, decided to launch a military action against Oromo Liberation Army. It was decided that additional troops, additional reinforcements should be recalled from other regions, additional ENDF troops, federal troops, and all regional assets, regional forces, militias should be deployed too. Most of the participants agreed that as an armed group, OLA must not be allowed to operate in Oromia. That is what we have been saying, that government would launch operation against OLA, because government is going to try the model which it adopted in Tigray, that Tigray forces were weakened militarily. And then Tigray People Liberation Front had to make concessions in Tigray, because battlefield losses suffered by Tigray fighters forced them to make concessions at the table in Pretoria. Can this strategy work in Oromia? In a separate video we'll discuss, but it has been now decided that military action against Oromo Liberation Army will be intensified in coming days. Secondly, viewers, we have received a video from Dire Dawa University, situated on Oromia or Somali region border, you can say. Students from different ethnic groups are studying there. The video, which I cannot show you, graphic video, it shows security officials harshly beating students. It seems they are students who are being beaten. Amhara activists are sharing this video. They claim that Amhara students were attacked in Dire Dawa University, but we don't have any such confirmation. Video does show security officials beating students, it seems. The university has not issued any statement about what happened there. Was there any incident involving security officials and students, or were there any conflict between students? It's not clear. You can see screenshots from the video which is being shared reportedly from Dire Dawa University. I think authorities should investigate because whenever something to Amhara students happen outside Amhara region, we see a campaign by Amhara activists that Amhara genocide is being committed, that Amhara people are suffering, they are the victims of human rights abuses by Oromos and others. That is why universities should handle this issue carefully and should issue a statement what happened at Dire Dawa University. Thirdly, viewers, some meetings have been held between top ENDF generals and EDF generals in Eritrea. The meetings were held last week reportedly, and after these meetings, some points were agreed by the generals from two sides. And after those meetings, Eritrean military started its partial withdrawal from Tigray. Now we know that from some parts of Tigray, Eritrean military has partially withdrawn, not completely withdrawn. So some understandings were reached at the meetings held in Eritrea between ENDF and EDF generals. Discussions were held about Badme. Badme will remain under Eritrean control. Eritrea is building new settlements there. And Ethiopian military intends to set up some command posts, some bases rather. Ethiopian military wants to set up some military bases on Ethiopia-Eritrea border, on Tigray-Eritrea border. Reportedly, the issue came under discussions too. ENDF wants to be on Tigray-Eritrea border because if this border is not manned by Ethiopian National Defense Force, it could lead to future conflicts between Tigray regional forces which will be formed and Eritrean military. And Eritrea also wants ENDF to be on Eritrea-Tigray border. Eritrea does not want Tigray forces to be in charge of entire Tigray-Eritrea border. And in coming days, we could see start of establishment of some bases by Ethiopian National Defense Force on Tigray-Eritrea border. So these issues came under discussion. Eritrea is basically planning post-TPLF scenario. For Eritrea, TPLF is now a finished entity in the Horn of Africa, politically, militarily too. Eritrea now wants to talk to ENDF, to Ethiopian federal government. Isaias Afwerki is now planning post-TPLF scenario, as I discussed in yesterday's video. So meetings focused not only on Tigray, or not only on withdrawal, but also on post-TPLF scenario. That is why border issues were discussed too. Lastly, viewers, the Tigray, where humanitarian aid is arriving, but needs are much more than deliveries. 30% of all children in Tigray are acutely malnourished, and more than 5 million are dependent on food aid, though starting from the 15th of November, till the 24th of November, 458 trucks arrived in Tigray carrying food, medicines, but still a lot needs to be done. Roads leading into Tigray from Amhara region are open. From afar, from Amhara region, aid deliveries are arriving in Tigray by air. Two airports are being used, Shire and Makale Airport, but still aid organizations say that a lot needs to be done on urgent basis. Take a listen to what UN Secretary General spokesperson say a few hours ago about humanitarian needs in Tigray, other parts of Ethiopia too.
Turning to Ethiopia, our humanitarian colleagues tell us they have seen some gradual and tangible improvements in access into the Tigray region following the recent cessation of hostilities agreement. Since mid-November, aid deliveries have begun moving into Tigray, including to Mekelle along the Samara and Kombolcha corridors, and to other parts of Tigray along the Gondar corridor in Amhara. Humanitarian flights for staff have also resumed for Mekelle and have started for Shire as well. From the 15th to the 24th of November, more than 450 trucks carrying aid by the government and by UN as well as NGOs arrived in Tigray. The majority of this is food aid as well as medical supplies and agricultural supplies. Some fuel and cash have also been brought in. However, our humanitarian colleagues stress that what has arrived in Tigray remains far from what is actually needed to meet the huge needs in the area. More than 5 million men, women, and children are in need of food assistance, and an estimated 30% of children are facing acute malnutrition. Sustaining and building on these movements to ensure that the required food and other items can reach all those in need is critical. Access to most parts of neighboring areas of Amhara and Afar have also improved in recent weeks. We, along with our partners, are providing food and other assistance, including to displaced people and those who have returned. However, we need to be able to scale up our work to help all those in need. In addition, Ethiopia is experiencing a historic drought, and in the Bale zone of Oromia and the Liban zone of the Somali region, there is an ongoing cholera outbreak. Nearly 500 people have been impacted, including 20 deaths. Hundreds of thousands more remain at risk. We, along with our humanitarian partners, are providing health and water and sanitation assistance. Humanitarian colleagues note that the conflict in Western Oromia also continues to drive people from their homes and has hampered our ability to provide aid.